Hey friends! I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. It is pouring rain here, which I kind of like because I'm snuggled up in my robe. Just had a bath earlier today. Have just really enjoyed today for whatever reason. Thankful Thursday, I don't know. I'm just feeling really grateful. But I was just talking to a new friend of mine named Jennifer, who was telling me kind of her life story, and hi Mom! And it just really brought to light an idea that I've known for a while, but just really kind of, I had an aha moment, whether, it was something I knew already or not. And it was that having acid reflux is what made me successful in both of the careers that I have right now. Hey, Allie. And I want to explain kind of my backstory, like how on earth that could be true, and just a general kind of message that I got looking back at my story and reading Jennifer's story and thinking about this, because bad things happen to us all the time, It's just how it goes. Like, I don't know if it's the universe, I don't know if it's humankind, I don't know if it's what, I don't know. Bad things happen all the time, but it's how we choose to respond to them that always matters. And the fact that I got acid reflux could have very well meant I never sang again, and I changed careers entirely, and it didn't. That's the thing. So because of the choices that it hammered home in me, reflux is the reason I'm an opera singer and the reason I'm a health and mindset life coach. So for some backstory, I know I have a bunch of new friends joining my page recently, and I figured I'd kind of share some story time with you, because a lot of you probably don't know this about me, but in college I was a triple major. I was majoring in international studies, French, and music, and I was studying abroad in Paris during my junior year. And I had no idea that I had reflux. I've always suffered from the silent kind of reflux, so it's never felt like heartburn to me. It's always just been a silent swelling in my throat, and I didn't know that. I was in college, I was, drinking fairly often anyway, so, how would I know what a husky voice versus, vocal edema from reflux was? So in Paris, as Parisians do, I was having wine every night, until midnight, and going to bed and waking up late and sitting around people who had, long cigarettes and cigars, and, it was just the lifestyle of being around a lot of smoke and with a lot of alcohol and eating a lot of foods that, weren't ideal for someone who had reflux. And I just continued on my merry way throughout my life there in Paris, and until the very end, when I was in the practice room singing something, and I couldn't phonate. Like, nothing came out. I started warming up, and I started practicing a song I'd been preparing for a recital I was gonna do when I got back, and nothing came out. And then I tried again, and nothing came out. And I started kind of panicking. I remember my heart racing, what is happening? Like, why is my voice not working? And I figured, okay, well, it was probably just, I don't know. I was like, maybe I just lost my voice. I was talking too much, something like that. And it lasted for 4 days. I could barely talk. I was squeaking through everything, and it was just kind of this sudden voice loss. And it felt like something that I'd swallowed something. So something in my gut, I remember going to WebMD and going online and being looking up every possible solution of, what this could be. Is it, a cyst? Is it vocal nodules? Is it, blah, blah, blah. I was just looking up every possible solution. And I knew in my heart of hearts something was wrong with my vocal folds. It wasn't just a lost voice. It was something wrong. And around that same time, it was towards the end of my life there in Paris. And I had booked one last trip to go to London by myself, and I remember getting there on the first day, and it was still just so fresh, and I went to the cathedral that they have in the city, and a boy choir was singing a service there, and I just remember sitting in the back row sobbing because I was listening to these beautiful voices of this choir in London. You know, I just envisioned, I'd gone to every opera house I could in every country that I visited, and I'd envisioned myself there, and going to London and sitting in this cathedral listening to these boys sing. It was just a very real possibility for me at that time. Like, maybe I've lost my voice forever. Maybe my music is gone. Maybe I can't sing anymore. You know, I don't know what's wrong with me, and I don't know if it's fixable. So I just remember sobbing, and the whole, I wasn't like loudly sobbing or I would have interrupted the whole service, but I was just very, very visibly sobbing, and I had my head in my lap, and just like my whole body was just convulsing. And the service ended and everybody left, and it was very awkward because I was the very last row, but I couldn't stop crying, so I didn't want to get up and show my face. And so everybody was kind of walking out, like not knowing what to do with me because I was crying so hard. But one woman went around the other side of the pew and sat kind of at a distance on the pew with me until I just stopped crying. And it took a while. I was just crying and crying and crying because I didn't know, maybe I would never sing again. Like, that reality was a possibility, and that had never even occurred to me before. And so she just sat there, not saying anything while I sobbed. And eventually the heaving stopped and the tears dried and the snot was wiped. And I thought, okay, I think I can stand up now. And so I did, and she stood up with me, and we both went out of the church kind of just walking side by side silently. And we were pretty much the only ones left around the church at the time because service had ended a while before. And she just said, she was a British girl. I still to this day don't even know her name. She said that she didn't want to tell me her name because it was just a beautiful thing to share this with her. But she said, if you want to talk, I'm here. And she was a total stranger. I didn't know this woman at all. And I said, yeah, that would be really nice. So we sat down in front of the steps, and I told her my whole story about this, dream life that I've been living in Paris. And, all of a sudden, I think it had all caught up with me, and I thought I had, some sort of nodes in or cyst or something, rupture or something in my vocal cords, and I didn't know if I'd ever sing again. And I just, the crying started back again, and she was just kind of like the best friend of my life, in that really, really scary moment. And she talked me through it for hours. We talked for hours about just everything, and like figuring out what life would look like without music, and how I would heal from that, and, what I can do to approach this with a positive attitude. I just remember that conversation being so uplifting. And just having experienced that sort of kindness from a stranger was just a magical experience. So I left Paris shortly thereafter and went to a doctor, and I found out that I had bilateral nodules, like nodes, caused by severe swelling in my voice. And when I went back to school that next semester for undergrad, it was my senior year, and I had anticipated making all my recordings and, applying for grad school and doing the thing that I thought I was going to be doing. And I was on speech therapy. I was on like total vocal rest for a while, and then partial vocal rest for a while, and then partial singing was allowed, and then some more singing was allowed, but it was like relearning everything. I had to relearn speaking. I had to treat the reflux and digestive disorder stuff that was going on. I had to completely build a new technique, which was what part of my lesson was. The voice that I had after discovering this was a brand new voice, and was a better voice than I had before the reflux. And it was because I didn't give up, and I didn't say, well, I'll just finish my music major and go become a French professor or translator, or, something to totally go to law school. I don't know, do something totally different with my life and just let this chapter close. I said, no, I want to go through the healing process. I want to still sing, and I want to figure this out. So I went through that, and it was a 9-month process of figuring out how to speak and sing again, and how to heal my reflux. And granted, the solution to healing my reflux was medications at the time. So I was like, well, whatever it takes, whatever it takes, I want to keep singing. So that pretty much my whole senior year was just kind of a rebuilding year and really not much singing going on. And so that meant I needed to take another year off and continue studying my voice, you know, taking lessons and preparing for grad school auditions and working and all of that. And it was through this reflux kind of wake-up call where I really examined my life of what the hell do I want to do? You know, who am I? What do I want out of life? What do I want to do? And what is my body capable of doing? And if my body was ever going to be able and capable of singing, I wanted to make it freaking happen, you know? Because I had that moment, in more than a moment, it was months, of not knowing if I would ever sing again, if it would ever heal. Because it could, you know, some calluses, you know, that's what a node is. Some calluses never fully heal, and there's always just a little chink, you know, in it, and it just never fully recovers. And I didn't know if that would happen. So because of that reflux journey, I decided I was going to become a singer. When I saw the light at the end of the tunnel and it was healing and things were changing and it was growing, I decided, okay, well, this is part of my purpose. I need to be a musician. And I went through this suffering and discovery because I needed that confirmation in myself. To risk losing it meant I decided I had to have it. So that was how I kind of solidified this decision to become an opera singer and go to get my master's in it and, you know, go in full force into this performing life. And then, wouldn't you know, reflux raised its ugly head again in grad school, because as most of you probably know, reflux is a very insidious little bug, and it is caused by, often triggered by stress, as well as food and lifestyle and all sorts of things. And in the middle of grad school, I was taking a bunch of medications. I had about 3, plus a bunch of herbal supplements, plus my multivitamin and my probiotics and all those kind of things. I had like a pill box, you know, those old people pill boxes that have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was full on each day. I had probably like 7 or 8 pills that I took at different times throughout the day, and it was like this, like medicating Ellen was a full-time job. But I had to do whatever it took to sing. That was kind of just like, I have to do it. So I did. But then I discovered my second year of grad school that my insurance company was going to stop covering my medications. I had 2 that were like really, really what I needed. And one of them was very, very new and very expensive. And so they stopped covering it. And I remember that happening around the same time that I started this like kind of obscure and weird thing that I really never did. I did this like fitness and health challenge with one of my friends. Because I had been kind of in a weird place in my life, and I had been emotionally eating, which is something I'm still recovering from, still an ongoing thing with me. I've always comforted myself with food, so it's a learning process. But I wanted to lose the weight that I had been putting on throughout grad school from emotionally eating and get in just a better mental health and all of that through exercise and, you know, feeling good. And it was a weird alignment of everything that I started that challenge, and I get a letter from my insurance company saying we're dropping coverage of these, you know, these pills. And I just remember thinking like, well, I can't sing without these. And I'd been a walking science experiment for like a while. I had tried multiple medications for my reflux, and they all kind of like almost did the trick, but not quite. They were always just kind of not really fully covering the, you know, what I needed. And I found this one miracle pill and then another one that helped whatever, like in times of stress. And it was just gone. So I faced the possibility of like, okay, well, if I need this pill to sing, is it worth paying for it out of pocket, which out of pocket was about $400 for 30 pills, or giving up singing? Again, like a crossroads of like, is my body just revolting against me singing? Like, I don't know what to do. So it just happened that, you know, so when I got that letter, I immediately booked an appointment with my GI. But of course, GIs, there's always like a wait list, and like, you know, you can never get an immediate appointment with the GI. You always would have to wait weeks. So I went weeks without my pill, And I think it was probably over a month. It was like 4 or 5 weeks. And with the challenge, which this was the least important thing on my radar of all things, with the challenge that I was doing, which had an exercise program that you do from home, plus a meal plan to figure out your stuff, plus the superfood shake. I was having the superfood shake, and it was tasty, and it was, it made me feel good, it made me feel healthy, it made me feel energized and all those kind of things. But I didn't really think about its impact on anything other than just like thinking of it as kind of a protein shake. And I felt like it was a good thing, so I kept having it. And I got another month's supply after my challenge ended, and my reflux didn't come back before my appointment with my GI. So I went into, I just remember thinking like, why? Like, what? Nothing has really changed except adding this thing. So maybe this thing is the thing that's helping me. So I remember taking the superfoods with me, like the bag that I had with the scooper and everything. I took the bag with me into my GI appointment. And I told him, I was like, I guess we just have to try some more medications or something, but I did want to just kind of bring this with me because I've been having it for like the time that I stopped my pills to now. I've been having it and it hasn't come back. And he started looking at it, and he's like, well, maybe you should go talk to the nutritionist on our staff about this, because maybe this is nutritionally helping your gut. And I was like, I can nutritionally help my gut and not have reflux? Like, what? No one had ever said anything like that to me. Everyone had just said, you have reflux, that is your body, here's some pills. And like, try not to eat XYZ and go sleep on an incline pillow and, do these XYZ protocol for someone with reflux. Not, we can heal this. And so that's kind of what got me into coaching. That's why OperaFit was born. That's why I thought about coaching, and I started coaching, and people really had success with my coaching and being in this community. And people have had their lives changed because of the combination of having regular exercise and regular mindset growth and regular community and like constant interaction and support with peers across the world. And the superfoods shake for those of us that have, debilitating IBS and acid reflux and migraines and just all sorts of different diseases that are caused by imbalances in the body. This was changing them. And so that's how acid reflux changed my life. And honestly, if I had just given up both times that acid reflux was this giant obstacle in my life where, I lost my voice and I didn't have it, and I said I could have just walked away, but I chose to strengthen the craft that I had and go through the journey of healing through, working with doctors to become a singer. And then again, acid reflux was preventing me from singing, and it forced me to understand my body in a new way, so that I became a coach. And as it would happen, coaching not only helps my body stay in its optimal feeling and wellness, and now I'm medication free and singing better than I did ever on the medication. We choose how to interpret our obstacles. And one of the books that I recently read called The Universe Has Your Back, which if you are needing some sort of mental grounding and spiritual connection, maybe, The Universe Has Your Back was life-changing to me and many people that I work with as coaches. And one of the sections says, look at obstacles as detours in the right direction. And that's how I look back at both of these kind of defining moments that reflux could have broken me and made me a totally different career path and totally just changed my orientation of life. But it made me a stronger singer. It made me a stronger human by adding coaching to my life as a fulfilling career that strengthens my singing career. And it made me completely committed to being a singer throughout all the shit that I went through. So that's my story. I know I rambled, I'm sure. I'm sorry, this video was really long. But because of my conversation I was having earlier with my new friend Jennifer, I just felt like there's power in that story that I feel like someone watching this might need to hear, because you're never alone in these kind of battles, whether it's internal or with the career. Maybe you're battling, is this right for you? Maybe you're battling your body, maybe you're battling self-love and self-care. Whatever it is, like whatever the obstacle, I just want you to know, like, I am a health and mindset and life coach. So I am here to talk through all of the life things. I really kind of get off on talking about these kind of transformations in your life and helping you through them, because Lord knows I'm always going through them in some way or somehow. And I just thought I'd share my story with you about how I've gotten to where I am today because of these really horrible obstacles that have turned into turning points of great beauty. So that's it. And I also kind of wanted to show you my new glasses because I kind of love them. But thank you for watching. For those of you on live right now and watching the replay, I just love you all, and thank you for being my friend and being in this journey with me. And I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the sun. Wear sunscreen if it ever gets sunny again. I know it's raining here, but hopefully it gets sunny again. And I will see you guys soon. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.